Welcome in along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo, and this is your David Long of Michigan NFL Draft Profile, all powered by PFF Edge in Elite. That's right, there's two David Longs in this draft. You have the linebacker from West Virginia. We're focusing on the cornerback from Michigan, who we see as a potential first-round caliber player. The numbers are off the charts ridiculous. Some question marks, some flags, but we really love his coverage ability.
Yeah, the question marks with him are not necessarily things that happen down the field, but things that might happen in the future. The question marks are, well, he just played basically only man coverage at Michigan. That was their defense. They played man coverage snap after snap after snap. So not necessarily a lot of practice he's got in zone, so you don't necessarily know how his instincts are going to be in coverages like that at the next level, which everyone pretty much has to play zone at some point at the next level in the NFL. And the fact that he is under 5'11", has under 31-inch arms, that immediately is going to take you off some team's draft board with the thresholds they have at that position, but he's barely under 5'11". He's 5'10" and 5'8", barely under 31-inch arms, 30 and 7/8-inch arms, so barely undersized, still 196 pounds, and as physical as it gets for press man corners. I think on the field, what we saw from him is going to translate at the next level. I think he's going to be good in man coverage. I can't tell you about zone, but in man coverage, I feel confident about him having success.
Because the movement skills are just fantastic.
Yes.
He knows how to mirror receivers really, really well. And I know that there has been this move for the bigger, longer corners, but the NFL has all sorts of different style receivers. You have bigger receivers that the bigger corners generally do better with. But what about those good route runners? What about when you have to cover Antonio Brown or a Julian Edelman or a T.Y. Hilton on the outside? That's where you want David Long if you're in a man coverage scheme. The movement skills show up on film, and then nothing gets you more excited than a good three-cone. Oh. Let's talk about his three-cone. It was off the charts.
Yeah, 6.45, the fastest of any cornerback, of any player at the Combine. Had the fastest short shuttle also of any player at the Combine. You can't teach feet. You can't teach people to move the way he does in coverage. The best feet in this draft class in terms of mirroring receivers. At that point, I mean, he might get bodied against bigger receivers, but then maybe protect him a little bit. If you're going to play man coverage, let him guard the smaller receiver on the team. Let him guard the slot. I think he's still going to add a ton of value with just how adept he is in playing press man and mirroring wide receivers.
I mentioned the numbers earlier, but he's only allowed 30% of passes to be completed into his coverage. That's crazy. Now that's, the quarterback could be inaccurate too, but it is generally a telling sign. Matches up with his coverage grades and a passer rating against of only 24.3 over the last 2 years. Just fantastic. But he's also made more plays on the ball per target than anyone else in the class as well. So it's not just inaccurate quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
Yeah, only 18 catches allowed in his entire college career. 4 catches allowed, 10-plus yards downfield. And he broke up 13 on those targets, 10-plus yards downfield, only allowed 4 catches. I mean, he's more likely to get his hands on the ball than the wide receiver is at that point. He's pretty darn good in those coverages. There are question marks, I'm not going to lie. There are things that would worry me projecting the next level. But if you play a lot of man coverage, you should be coveting him in the first round.
Any questions about, we've seen the completion percentage against from Michigan corners before. Because they play so much man, you generally give up a lower completion percentage. We've seen other Michigan corners back to 2014 atop that list. They also get a little grabby at the top of routes. Is there some of that to his game that he needs to clean up at the next level?
There is. I mean, against some bigger wide receivers, sometimes at the break of a route, he would give up a little bit of separation and then get himself back into it by reaching out and grabbing receivers. That is pretty common, though, with a lot of cornerbacks in college football because you can get away with it. We also saw a lot of cornerbacks have a lot of broken pass numbers at Michigan. No one gave up only 9 catches in a year like David Long did. They were still giving up 30, 40 catches. He was as stingy as it got. And I go back to 2017 when he was matched up with DJ Moore, basically shut him down better than anyone shut him down last season. The first round wideout out of Maryland, stuck with him all game long. I mean, there's a lot to like about him. I don't have too many questions about how he'll hold up in man at the next level.
So there you have it. It's your David Long, Michigan cornerback, NFL Draft Profile, all powered by PFF Edge in Elite.